Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV and welcome to this Monday night special all about Cass, and we've got some regulars on to talk about this morning's decision. We've got Chris. How are you doing, mate?
I'm all right, thanks, mate. It's been a good day.
It's been a very, very good day. We've got Karl over in Washington. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Sun's up. It's shining. It's a happy day. It is a beautiful day. It's a blue day.
Absolutely. Martin?
Not a real shit day, to be totally honest. No, I'm going to be honest. From 6 o'clock in the morning messaging you with me half glass full stuff.
That was better.
And also ringing me. I'm going to be honest. Really good day. Can I just say while we're on, thank you to the 1,000 people who joined you early on. That was outstanding.
Yeah, nearly 1,000 people on for the live blog this morning, which was amazing. I think it's approaching 6,000 views this so far. So
everyone who joined us.
It was a bit mental. I think we're normally to about 120 people on sometimes as a good live vlog, but when it started hitting 980, 990, it was like things were coming through. So it's brilliant that everyone joined us this morning. Over in Melbourne, we've got Sheikh Alan Howarth. How are you, mate?
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
I don't know what that is.
Why do you have him on the channel? Why?
Brilliant, just amazing. Last night I was jumping up and down like a little child. It was unbelievable. I was watching your live vlog, and before 12,700 subscribers now, Andy. Look, doing well.
Very good. We'll hopefully get that 13,000 soon. We've also got, another bit of fancy dress. Fancy dress. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm over the moon. Absolutely so happy with the performance, the result this morning. Woke up especially. Performance of the lawyers, man of the match performance from them guys, eh? Just absolutely over the moon, and I can't hear anybody calling us cheats and whatsoever now, and everybody that doubted us and said that we were going to get guilty.
Still calling us cheats, mate. Don't worry about that.
Have you not been on Twitter all day?
And I have, and it's all mocking UEFA and the fans who doubted that we wouldn't do well, people criticising the club and everything like that. We've proved to everybody that City were innocent, and like I've said all along, I believed them throughout, so I'm a really happy boy today. And United drew as well, so it's happy days all over.
Absolutely. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll go around the room, really, each room and each guest, and we'll just talk about the decision. But before I do, I'll just ask you a quick question. How confident were you at 9:25 this morning that City would get the turned? Chris?
I think it was deteriorating as the days went on, actually. When Cheesy put the tweet out on Friday, I felt that elation, because it was Cheesy, I thought, But then when he went quiet afterwards, it was like, what's going to happen? And I kind of wish he never said anything. I love Cheesy, but I wish he kind of never said anything, because all weekend it was like, what's going to happen? And then I had some buffoon ringing me yesterday about midnight, trying to get me going. So it just carried on deteriorating. And then
I wonder who that is.
Him at midnight.
No, it wasn't Alan. Martin, you know full well it was. So once we were on the blog this morning, it was a bit nerve wracking watching all the other Blues sort of making the comments,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Brilliant. It must have been early hours of the morning for you. Were you up watching it live, or did you wake up?
I was fast. I was a baby. I was fast asleep, man. I wasn't worried. I think we talked about this. I was 70% sure we were going to get away with it and prove our innocence before this weekend. When I saw Ian Cheeseman's note, and I really thought about it, it went to 90%. And here's what happened. So I went to bed at night about 12 a.m., which is about 5 a.m. your time. And I had this dream, that we got off with it. Serious. we got off with it. And so I slept, woke up at 7:30 a.m., picked up my phone, looked through, and boom, woke up my wife and said, "Hey, honey, look! I told you, I knew it, right?" And I have a point of view on this whole thing, right? On why I felt so confident. Maybe I'll share it now or share it later.
Yeah, right? maybe share it as we go through because we'll have.
But I was really happy.
Sir, it's me, sir.
No, hold on. If we don't talk over each other while others are talking, otherwise the viewers can't hear people talking. So we'll come to each person and they'll get the opportunity. Tom?
You've seen on some of the stuff that we've done on CAS. I felt so confident in everything that the club have said about it. I knew that we were gonna make sure it was gonna get turned, like it was gonna be lifted. I knew that it was going to happen. I just knew from the minute that Fran Soriano came out and said that we were innocent, to the point where we got the top lawyers in the world. You know, it was just it kept going on. You could see that we were just building it up and made it into such a strong thing that nothing other than proving us innocent was going to happen. So yeah, I was happy and nervous because you never know what's going to happen with UEFA. Because, you know, look at we got the bloody ban, so anything can happen. But yeah, I was absolutely over the moon and just buzzing. And as you can see, celebrating with all my Manchester music on today, putting up the flags, and yeah, it's been like a party. It's been brilliant.
Brilliant, Alan.
At 9:25 your time, which was 6:25 in the evening my time, I was absolutely petrified. I was watching your live vlog. I was shitting myself. Seriously, I've not slept the night before. I couldn't concentrate at work. I hardly did a scrap of work all day, as you know, because I told you. I was absolutely shitting myself, and then the result came through. Oh, I was jumping around like a little child. Seriously, it was unbelievable. I was screaming in my living room and cracked a bottle of champagne out. And had a few glasses last night. It was great.
Well, obviously it's early morning for you now, isn't it? So it was sort of last night's result for you. We'll bring in Martin. You were actually at work, weren't you?
It was telling.
I bet that phone was never out of your hand, was it today?
I'm not saying a dicky bird because people from work watch this.
Sacked in the morning. You're getting sacked in the morning.
Can we stop using the term get off? We haven't got off with anything. Oh. We've just proved ourselves innocent. There was no getting off with anything.
Correct.
We're innocent.
Correct.
I mean, go on.
I'm not gonna lie. I was worried. You all know I was worried like hell. Yeah. Even went for the drive. Just didn't want to move. I was just worried like hell. I couldn't sleep. And then great, don't stop worrying, this, that, and the other. And then I watched his live vlog earlier on. He was sweating more than I was during that live vlog. It was like you were.
I was really calm actually this morning.
You went on chills a cucumber, and then halfway through you were going, I'm getting nervous now.
It was the people on the comments, and I'm thinking, oh shit, should I be nervous? I actually felt really calm going into it. I just thought, we'll be fine, we'll be okay, don't worry about it. But then all these City fans, oh my God, I'm shitting myself. Oh, I can't believe it. I'm thinking, I started making me nervous then. Yeah, it was a crazy morning. Really.
It's 2, 3, 4, 5 years vindication that.
Yeah.
And they can disappear now and go away and leave us alone because we're a profit-making club now.
They won't do that. There's definitely no chance of that happening, without a shadow of a doubt. Well, obviously the CAS hearing, it was posted on there. That should have come out at 9:30. It was a few minutes later before eventually the link got posted on the website. And basically there were two elements to it. One, that we'd well, the wording was something along the lines of we contravened sort of Article 56 of UEFA's financial fair play, and that really centred. And there's A, B, C, and D parts of Article 56 which sort of talk about different things. One of the things is not being in full cooperation with them. I mean, it says here, A says cooperating with the licensor and the UEFA club control body in respect of requests and inquiries, provide the licensor with all necessary information or relevant documents. C is confirm that all the submitted documentation and information are complete and accurate. And D is promptly notify the licensor in writing about any subsequent events that constitute a significant change. So they're saying that we have done one of those. We don't know whether we've done all of them or one of them, and we won't know until the findings, the full findings, are published later this week. But that was one, and that was the one that we've got charged. We've had a reduction from the 30 million euros down to 10 million euro, around about £9 million fine. And basically, reading between the lines, and like I said, until we see the full findings, we won't know for sure. But basically, it's City didn't really cooperate and fully with the investigatory panel, or the CFCB, in the investigation. What were your thoughts on that? Though the good thing, obviously, was they overturned the 2-year ban and said it wasn't. They couldn't find any evidence on those parts to ban us for 2 years. So, what were your thoughts when it was? Because this is the problem, you see, is that these journalists are still saying, yeah, but you've still been charged with this. You've still been found guilty of Article 56. But we don't know what that is. Hence why we got the €10 million fine. What were your thoughts with regards to, obviously, the 2-year ban being overturned, but then we've still been fined €10 million, Chris?
Well, the €10 million charge, it just... I don't know. I don't quite know what to make of it, Andy. You know, UEFA give out £30,000 fines for racism. You know,
yep.
And we're getting a £9 million hit for sticking 2 fingers up at a kangaroo court. And right. You know, I just think, like, you know, that it's just typical, isn't it? You know, what's the real cancer in society? Is it Man City telling some, you know, fuckwits at UEFA to get lost? Or is racism the real problem? You know, it's a joke. UEFA are a joke, and you know, the actual lifting of the ban from Europe is obviously a massive, massive thing for the club. It means we can progress without any taking any backward steps. We can look at top quality players. You know, who knows? Maybe even get Pep to extend. You know, that I think that would have been the icing on the cake today if he signed an extension to his contract. But yeah, a massive thing for City, huge, massive. Can't underestimate what it would have been like if we had that 2 years, you know, upheld by by CAS.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's certainly the fact that we've got that fine and saying that we've been charged of breaching Article 56. It's given a little bit of license to those journalists out there to sort of still put it a lot along the lines of, okay, you've had the ban overturned, but you've still been charged with something and you've been fined €10 million, etc., etc., etc. But you might have saw it. I retweeted earlier this afternoon. Somebody had somebody had posted something about the €10 million fine. And he posted on there, Sheikh Mansour earns £1,500 per second. So at 9:30, when we got fined €10 million, it was paid by 11 o'clock. Proper rubbing it into all the other bits.
That's what I get paid a week on here.
Yeah, well, not quite, nearly.
Okay.
But Karl, what were your thoughts on the actual comments made by CAS with regards to Article 56 and the €10 million fine?
Well, I think to Chris's point, Chris laid out the argument very well. I mean, racism, you fine a club 30,000, and then you fine a club for basically sticking up 2 fingers, £9 million. But here's the thing about this journalist, right? Here is my rant about this journalist, right? My 5th grader, right, could write better articles and do better research than half of these bozos, frankly. Right? These guys are absolutely incompetent. Didn't Leicester City get a fine for breaching FFP? Didn't Wolves get a fine for breaching FFP, for somebody breaching FFP? So why is it Man City? My only conclusion, Andy, I'm sorry about this. My only conclusion, this has nothing to do with football. It's about politics and it's about racism. I'm telling you, that's what it comes down to. It's about the fact that a foreign-owned, brown skin or light skinned person from the Middle East owns a company in Manchester, is investing, creating jobs, and they don't like that fact. Period.
Yeah. I mean, we
Can't
spoke.
you put in, Andy?
We spoke earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't mean to put in on it, Karl, but let me just read you something that was on the BBC News at 6 o'clock tonight. I mean, I'm astounded by this, right? They had William Galliard, I think his name is. I think he still works for UEFA. And he came out and said, this is all he said on this piece. Man City can receive billions from the Emirate, and the whole contest will basically become a tournament in Europe between Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. This is the enormous danger the professional club football is facing in Europe. That was his statement,
Racist.
It is racist.
Absolutely. And that's my argument. It really comes down to this. And the flip side is the reason why I have so much confidence, Andy, and I'll take it from a vain person, right? A black, Asian, minority person, right? Do you really think that, this is how we operate. If we're going to invest money in a club or an entity or an organization, right, as a person of color, you're going to make sure damn skippy that every single thing you do is in line, or you bend the rules but don't break it. 100%, because they're coming after you. And so you got to make sure everything you do is following the law as best as possible and can be argued in a court of law. You won't risk your reputation, your family, your status, everything you're trying to do over some flimsy law. You won't. So that's why I had confidence that if the club said they didn't do anything wrong, I'm damn sure, Skippy, they didn't. That was my own confidence. But again, there was always the issue of the 20% with the UEFA. We'll have, but in a court of law that's unbiased and clear, the evidence was always going to come out winning.
Martin?
The 10 million, I think, is really excessive. I do honestly I think UEFA were going to do us for summer because they had to come out. Or CAS were going to give UEFA something. I think they had to in a way. Because let's be honest, City did stick two fingers up to the whole process, didn't they? They even admitted so that they didn't cooperate. So they were going to get in trouble for that. But
go on,
Tom.
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
That wasn't me, by the way.
Heavy breathing.
I do think these journalists need to understand exactly what it is, and they are biased, and it's quite clear the bias. The only one who's come out is Jonathan Northcroft. He's the only one who's come out and said, he's got it wrong and he's held his hands up. You've got Delaney, who's gone as quiet as a mouse, hasn't really said anything. You've got a lot of them right now who are just the quiet. I listened to Talk Sport tonight on the drive time with Goldstein, who we all know is a Man United fan and everything. He does things for MUTV, so that tells you it all. And Darren Goff, and you'd have thought the whole world had come down. This is really pee people off, and I'm quite happy it is. I'm just sat here thinking now, Mbappe, who is coming in? Let's just stick two fingers up and let's go at this point, because I really couldn't give a monkeys. All I care about is Liverpool. Enjoy your title, because we're back in May for it. See you later, guys. Enjoy the ride.
Tom?
Yeah, I'm sort of a little bit like Martin, really. Yeah, I completely agree with what he's just said and what the rest of the guys have said. When I saw that we'd been fined 10 million, I was listening to TalkSport this morning, and Jim White, who talks a lot of the majority of the time, he was going, oh yeah, but they've still done something wrong, and then I turn it over to Sky Sports and they're saying the exact same thing, and I'm like, we've been fined for not cooperating. it's like if I go to school and I don't cooperate with my teachers, I'll get punished for it. It's nothing other than that. It's just like that. Whereas the whole point we were banned was because of financial things and so forth, and that's why we got it overturned, because it wasn't true. So we've technically been fined for not listening to them and ignoring them, which I think is pathetic and quite funny, that the fact that they've actually clutching at straws and decided to give us a fine just because we didn't listen to him for a few months. So I think it's quite funny, to be honest, that they've given us it, because it's just pathetic. It's laughable. It's laughable.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm not sure it's pathetic, because if we have contravened a law, a rule, which it seems we have done, but you can understand there's reasons behind it, because obviously City hate UEFA, UEFA hate City. City have felt that all along UEFA have been leaking bits of information to the media, Tariq Panja and plenty of others. They've already decided we were getting a 2-year ban before the investigation was completed. That was leaked to the media. So City basically went, we'll cooperate as minimal as possible, and we'll do as much as we can, but we're not going to comply with all requests that you particularly want. Hence why, because at the end of the day, City won't appeal it. I very much doubt they'll appeal it, which will show you that basically City have thought, we'll take the 10 million, no problem. It was worth it, just to show you how arrogant UEFA are and have been over this. So, but you're right, Tom. It's nothing to do with the charges that we were charged with originally and found guilty of. And this is the thing, they've investigated us, they've charged us, and they've delivered their own punishment, all inside one particular governing body, and that's been the big problem. Alan, what were your thoughts on the fine? And
well, when you mentioned Article 50, whatever it was, I shit myself. I didn't know what that was when you started talking about it. But then when I found out it was just for non-cooperation, I sort of knew that would be guilty of that, because we knew that City had stopped talking to UEFA halfway through the process, because UEFA were leaking this, Daniel. Well, Rick Parry was releasing information here, there, and everywhere. And they stopped talking to them, and I don't blame them, to be honest with you. So obviously one of the charges was for non-cooperation, which we were found guilty of, and I accepted that on the chin, to be honest with you, because the only one that I had fear was the obviously being called cheats regarding the money going from Etihad to Manchester City. And what there was, because the implications of that were so big and enormous to the club, not just about being called cheats, but the implications moving forward from today onwards, what would happen to the squad, club, Premiership investigations, title strip, the whole works. So, the 10 million, to be honest with you, I kind of accepted. I knew that would be the case. And I think that UEFA and City couldn't afford to lose. I'll be honest with you. Either side could not afford to lose, because it was, the big president on the FFP. And I think what they've done is split the difference between one and the other, to be fair. They've given UEFA a little bit, and they've given us a massive, massive boost and taken away the cheat allegations. But we know that every single club will still call us cheats, like you said, Andy, the other day. And the press, where's Ian Herbert today? I'd love to see one of his comments after the scummy little comments he made in the newspaper. And I want to see these reporters apologise for what they've been saying for the last 2 years about our club, which are all false and are complete and utter lies. They're quite lucky that City don't take these individuals to court themselves. And I'd love to see that happen. I know City won't, but I'd love to see that happen. And all they're doing on TV is covering their own backs for what they've been saying for 2 years. And they're just clinging onto this 10 million, which to us, I don't care. I really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's going to be interesting to read what PASS's full findings are. point by point, because obviously one of the things that have come out of this, which cast in their findings today, the limited overview of findings today, was the fact that one of the charges was time barred, which we all suspected and read articles on that anyway, because it had been over a 5-year period. So you've got to suspect, Chris, we've employed all of these QCs, and you think all the money that UEFA have got, how incompetent are UEFA and their legal team to not go, hold on a minute, you can't charge them with this because this is time barred. It's over 5 years. What are your thoughts?
Well, without reading the whole report, it just comes across as, there's a time barring incident, but also what a flimsy case it was. And basically they just, they've charged us and then punished us on nothing. And City did exactly the right thing. And City fans, we should always remember to trust our club, because we are very lucky to have the owners that we have, and the people at the top of that club are brilliant people. But let's give a bit of something to UEFA here. Is let's not forget they are being threatened by the cartel clubs to break a breakaway league. They are under a hell of a lot of pressure to do their bidding. And I think they were told, you either do something or there will be repercussions. I think UEFA in a really tight spot. But for going after City is a stupid thing to do, because I don't know if you saw Gary Neville this evening. He made some really good comments, and for an ex United player, who I don't think has much love for City, he spoke real common sense and said FFP is stupid.
Well, he said that back in February when he said, I think City will. He's been adamant. He said, I think City will win it.
Yeah, and I think, like you say, why have UEFA spent whatever they've spent? Maybe that 9 million might pay the cost. I don't know, but such a flimsy case. It's really pathetic when it comes down to it.
No, it's already been announced that 10 million's going across the rest of the teams in Europa League.
Karl?
So Andy, in America, there are two things called, you guys call it time bar. We call it the statute of limitations, right? Statute of limitations, i.e., after a certain amount of time, you cannot charge a person for a case, right? That's and there's also double jeopardy. You can't charge someone for the case that has already been adjudicated. Andy, this is pure incompetence. If you are a paid attorney and you do not understand that a case that you're trying to charge someone with has passed the statute of limitation and is time barred, you should be fired. It's incompetence. UEFA should fire whoever was one that didn't stop this case. You cannot charge it.
This is why
the rules are clear.
I can't wait to read the full findings, because you can imagine. Tom, less of your heavy breathing.
Right.
That wasn't me that time.
It was. You can't hear yourself. Because Cass must have looked at these charges originally, or whenever this was originally presented to them, and straight away City would have gone, one of the things we're challenging is that this is from over 5 years ago. And Cass must be looking at it thinking, what are you doing? Why are you putting this in front of us?
Yeah, but Andy, that comes back to why we got. Sorry, you look at when the day they charged us. I think they were 4 hours away before they couldn't do anything. They had to charge us that night, and they didn't have the evidence then. So they literally rushed in 2 feet, and I think they knew it was going to fail.
Right, and Andy, this goes back to Chris's point. This is about politics. It's not about football. It's about politics. Politics is driving this decision because they knew that they had to charge something because of pressure from the cartel. That's what's going on, and this is gross incompetence. You have an attorney who's charging a plaintiff for a case that is time barred. That's incompetence. I'm sorry.
Where does this?
Every country has a time bar rule and law. Every single country. In Australia, it's 2 years. You can't 2 years. You can't charge someone. So that's common that. But the press, all that's happening at the moment is the press and media are looking for an scapegoat because they've dropped themselves in the shit by slagging us off, and now they've got nowhere to turn. So they're just covering their own selves, and that's all they're doing.
So where do you think this leaves UEFA now then, Alan?
Well, I believe FFP is a good thing. It has to be a sort of an FFP. It needs to be rewritten, definitely. I think you need to have a combination, like Steve Barsley said in our discussion with you, Andy. There needs to be a balance between debt and how much money you can spend depending on how much you bring in. But debt has to come into it as well, which, if you've got clubs like Barcelona 800 million in debt, Man United nearly 500 million in debt, that's got to be sorted out. You can't leave clubs leveraging off the clubs. You just can't do it.
I think United 700 million. I think.
Well, you can't keep doing that because it only needs the banks to call in and they're in trouble. And as much as I don't like United or Liverpool, I wouldn't want that to happen to any British club. I really don't. We saw Bury happen to Bury on a smaller scale, but I just think the FFP needs to be rewritten. But also, UEFA are fine running the competitions and running the anti-racism and all this sort of stuff and the charity stuff. But when it comes to a courts, when it comes to a charging company, like you mentioned I think it was last night when I watched it this morning actually, when it comes to actually charging a club for misdemeanors, they shouldn't be, they can investigate and then pass it on to a court like you would do, and only a court can decide what happens, not them.
Well, I think certainly for financial breaches or something like that. I mean, obviously UEFA and FIFA are the governing bodies, and they should deal with footballing matters. But if it's about financial, I'm going to bring in Darth Vader. 1 minute. Let me just bring Darth Vader. Darth Vader, can you just move your mic away from your mouth just to talk?
Pull it away.
Is that better?
We're counting your breathing rate.
All right.
It's all the weights he's been doing. It's all the weights he's been doing.
It is. He's tired out, poor lad. He's had too much excitement for one night. Turn your light out. It's your bedtime.
Not yet.
Go on. Like I said, I personally think anything financial should be dealt with by an independent body outside of UEFA and let them deal with footballing issues per se, rules and regulations and racism and all these types of things. But Tom, what are your thoughts on UEFA and FFP? Will FFP survive in its current guile?
I don't think it'll survive as it is now. I think it will be changed, like Alan said. They'll have to rewrite it because there needs to be some sort of law in that or rules in that department, because teams could just do what they wanted in that sort of, and that wouldn't be fair on some of the lower clubs. So I definitely think there will be some sort of change in it. As for UEFA as an organisation, I could not care less what they do. I will boo them louder. I will whistle louder. I will make sure everybody else boos louder. I just couldn't care less. People were complaining about City fans booing recently. I'm sure everybody will agree and come united and start booing again when we go back. That's for sure. So yeah, I
said instead of booing, what we should do is just all break out into loud laughing when the champions. Rather than
that would be good. Do the Poznan.
Do the Poznan, yeah. Carl, you want to say something quickly?
You'll never say that. Yeah. You'll never say that. You'll never say that. Champions are cast. You'll never say that. That's what we'll be saying.
That's a good one, that.
I just wanted to point out, Alan made a point about investors calling back their loans. And actually in March of this year, when COVID broke out, there was an article in the Financial Times or the New York Times that talked about the fact that United directors had a margin call on their loans from investors because of COVID, and they actually had to leverage some of the United shares to pay back those loans. So I have an article. I'll send the article out. Yep. It happened in March, April this year.
Please.
Yep, I will. I'll look for that and send it to you. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. So, like I said, we discussed a little bit about the case today. And I think we'll have to just wait until the findings come out later this week, and we can have a dig into them and discuss them at greater length, because that will tell us exactly what Cass's thoughts were on the charges and everything else, because that's the interesting part, is how have we not got away with it, but how have we overturned this? What is it that Cass have looked at and gone, what? Go on, Alan, what?
No, I'll just tell you, stop saying get away with it, because we didn't. We're innocent, please.
Well, okay. That's why I changed it to overturned it.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's going to be interesting when you read those, and that'll tell us, exactly what's been done to get away with this. No.
We got away with it. We paid them off. We give them a big old brown envelope. The rest of you can all kiss my rear end. We bribed you. Get on with it.
Anyway, moving on from that, just quickly before we finish. Well, clearly that leaves us now in the Champions League next year.
Spend whatever we frigging want.
Well, we can't
do that. But
rumours are today. Lots of rumours have come out, obviously, in light of what's happened. How much of those are just, speculation from the usual sources? But they're saying City could spend 150 million on 3 players, and they're naming again a centre back, a left back, and possibly a striker. There is the left winger again, Torres. Was one of the other players we've been linked with. We've got talk of Pep Guardiola potentially signing an extension to his contract, and we've got Kevin De Bruyne being given an extended contract as well. I think his agent has said that he's definitely going to be here till 2023, and then the other rumours are saying he possibly could want to go to the MLS or something like that. Martin?
Sky Germany are saying that Torres deal is done. Now, it's either with us, Juventus, or somebody else, but they're saying it's a done deal, and the likelihood it is us.
Yeah,
I think like the signing replacement might be in.
Is that from City Extra? Because I think there were 2 other teams named.
No, this was actually on Sky. They actually put the video of Sky Sports Germany on.
Yeah. The
story.
So what are your
thoughts?
thoughts?
The Spiegel, was it?
Yeah.
No.
So what are your thoughts on that, Chris? To finish off, sort of, do you think it's going to open up now extended contracts for Pep and some players, and how much money do you think we will spend?
Money to spend, 150 sounds about right. I think now the brakes, the foot's off the brake now. We don't have to keep thinking what if. We've got the green light now to go and basically get the players that we need, and they're the 3 positions I think we need to be prioritising. I'm really excited for what this shortened close season is going to bring. I think City could be in a very strong position. So Liverpool, you have a nice 9 months or whatever it is with your trophy. We're coming.
Oh, can I just say about a rumour I was told today? This is how I've got a mate who's been on the channel. He lives in Liverpool, literally in the centre of Liverpool.
Poor lad.
He puts all his City flags out all the time, and every time City won the league, he had all his flags out, and he ended up in I think it was like the Liverpool Echo or something one week, because all the Liverpool fans drove down his street, beep him. So he went out today in his City top. The rumour is on Merseyside, Liverpool and 1 or 2 other clubs are talking about revolting and not playing us next season because of this.
I saw that.
I heard that.
Apparently, they're going to boycott. They're going to boycott and protest and not play us next year because of the way. Because apparently we paid them off.
I don't believe that for one second.
No, there was a guy on TalkSport this morning that was talking about that Liverpool, Man United, whoever else in the Champions League shouldn't play City. That they should boycott City. Take the 3 points. They can boycott. We'll take the 3 points. The walkover, right? 6 points.
We'll actually win at Anfield for the first time in 16 years, so we'll take that.
Yeah. Can't see it ever happening.
But that's the kind of crap they're talking now, isn't it? It's just,
Yeah.
all I say is that, do they want a little bit of vinegar with the salt? Because they're about salt. So.
Karl?
Yeah, Andy, I just want to talk about maybe because of all the casts we've been asleep. Zach Stefan trained with the team last week, and he's back in that kid is American. That kid is a goalkeeper. You talk about in terms of comparing to Edison, he's not as good as in distributing the ball as Edison, but he's a better shot stopper, right, than Edison. He is a really, really, really good kid. 6'3". I think he's 25 or 24. Really, really good goalkeeper from the US. So I'm glad that he's training now. Maybe he's going to be the number 2. Really, really good.
It looks like it because it was. I think he will probably step in and be the number 2 for next season. Alan,
I'm still like sobering up from last night because I must have been through God knows how much champagne. I'll be honest with you, but I'm just happy at what's going on. Next season, we can sign the players we want. That's the big thing. The club can relax about what's going on. They can set the budgets. There's no A and a B list anymore. There's just an A list. And hopefully, with a bit of luck, Tiki now can go and sign the players that we need. Let's move on from UEFA. They'll always chase us. We've got to be mindful that we've got to have someone in the club now who's doing the corporate governance type role at that club to make sure that we don't leave ourselves wide open moving forward, because we don't want any more scenarios with UEFA. And if you think that UEFA are not going to come after us, still, I think they will, and I think they'll be watching us like a hawk. And because they won't take this on the chin, lying down, I'm telling you. So we've just got to make sure we don't do anything silly moving forward.
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting if UEFA do try it, because they'd have to be absolutely squeaky clean, otherwise it'll look like they are being vindictive towards City, especially after they've just had a 2-year ban overturned.
Well, they have been vindictive, and everyone knows that.
That's why
after having a 2-year ban overturned, to then go after City again, they'd have to have absolute concrete evidence. Which one of the things I was talking to Kian posted on Twitter, and we were talking about it earlier on WhatsApp, was about Rui Pinto in the Portuguese guy in jail. And one of the things I read a comment by somebody, trusted person, a while back, and they said, and I think I mentioned it on the live vlog this morning, that during this whole thing, investigation was based on the Der Spiegel hacked emails. UEFA have not once gone and interviewed Rui Pinto and asked him anything, not a single thing. Now, they're supposed to have come from him. So Kiam's question was, where did all that come from, and who set all that up?
Yeah.
Is Rui Pinto just a scapegoat, and this is actually done by the cartel and UEFA combined? Spiegel and the hacks and everything else. And it's interesting that if you're investigating a club on alleged hacked emails and leaks, or whatever they want to refer to them as, and then they're published in Der Spiegel, why not go to the person who's been arrested for allegedly hacking, getting these emails?
It was interesting to see. I read sort of a statement by I think it was Manchester City, that the stolen emails and the hacked documents were used in this case, and was accepted by CAS, but they couldn't find any evidence in relation to that. The City gave them the evidence that basically they thought that, well, the words were thought and misled emails. City had the evidence to persuade CAS that was just misconstrued all the way through. So, at the end of the day, they did use Sterling documents, Karl, which is allowed in Switzerland, but some evidence to get round them, which is good.
Yeah. Apparently, though, isn't the wording is they were used out of context?
Yes.
Is what was the exact phrasing of it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Misconstrued. Yeah, misconstrued.
And okay. I just posted the link about the Man United board of directors and the margin call and the share repurchase thing. It's by Business Wire. It's an official document. It was published on March 12th, 2020 at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's a verified source, and it's right there for all City fans and all Man United fans to read about what their owners are doing to their club.
Was that what the loan was for from United, or was it they've had to sell shares for it?
They have to sell shares.
Right.
Hey, the thing is, though, United fans know what their owners are doing. They know. That's why they hate them.
They hate it.
Mm-hmm. Why they hate them?
Yeah, so they can't stand them.
They already know.
Okay, this is not about Man United. Tom, thoughts on players? Yeah.
Well, for players, we just need to go all out. You know, we have this reputation of always seem to cap how much we spend on players. And that's probably got to do with what's been going on. And I think whilst it's still not in the law that we have a certain FFP and all that sort of thing, I think we should just go all out, get the players we need to get and not mess around. If we want to prove that we are going to come back next year stronger in all departments, defence, attack, if we need another attacker, we need to get the free players that the desire is to get them. It's all right getting a centre-back and leaving it at that. But that's not the target that City wanted. City won a centre-back, a left-back and a left winger, I think it is, or a striker. Go for it, get them, and then you've been successful in who you wanted to get. So that's where I think we should go with that. Just go all out, no matter, forget out the budget and just get the players that we need to get in, because you can't mess around. Pep's only going to stay for however long, and it's all right delaying it. If he wants to win the Champions League and everything properly, then we need to get the players in and make sure it's concrete.
I cannot teach you any football, Tom.
Last word with Martin.
Tom just said it. Let's stop messing around with these 60 million stuff. Fannying around with a 10, 15, 20 grand. Let's just go balls deep and let's do it. If we want someone who wants 70 million, slap 70 million on the table, let's walk away. Let's stop dicking around over a few thousand. Let's get who we want, when we want, first target in the door. Thanks for giving us a tour of your house, Alan. Where the hell are we going?
Sorry, I had to come downstairs.
You just tripped over the step?
I did.
What the hell?
Right, this is Andy from Man City Fan TV. I want to say a massive thank you to Chris.
Cheers, mate. Just all you Blues, enjoy the success we've had today, and enjoy all that saltiness that's coming from all those fans, and most of them are plastic anyway. So yeah, enjoy it.
Hey, we love a plastic.
Karl,
brilliant.
To all the Blues, it's always good to be a Blue. I'm a new City fan, and I'm enjoying every moment of the ups and the downs and the sideways and everything that it entails. I'm really enjoying. I'm glad to be a part of this family. I'm really enjoying it. I love the fans, all the ups and the downs. It's just fantastic fan base. So I love it.
That's being a Blue for you, Tom.
Well, just everybody enjoy this. All Blues enjoy it. I said it in my post-match interview against Liverpool. I love this club so much. No matter what happens, win, lose, draw, bloody anything, it takes us through all sorts of emotions, and it's probably worse than a bloody relationship at sometimes. Sometimes they can take you through stuff that nobody else can take you through, and I just love that. I love them all, and no matter what. So yeah, always proud to be a Blue boy, and yeah. For Scousers, Reds, everybody that seems to think that we're still cheats, then jog on. And like the guy said outside the Etihad earlier, it was a brilliant interview if you hadn't seen it. That old chap that was having a go about it. It was brilliant. Just follow his words as well.
Do one.
Yeah,
do one. Did you not see Andy outside the Etihad earlier?
No.
You miss him?
Alan, thanks for coming on, mate. I know it's early there.
I'm just saying just one thing before I go. I want to thank Franciriaro and Karl for everything they have done for our club. Thank you very, very much.
Oh, brilliant. And that will just leave me with one thing to do, and that is bring in Martin to make his apology to Ferran and after Thursday night, he said heads would roll today. So, Martin, over to you. Your apology. Oh, look, he's gone off. Oh, it's gone.
Where's he gone now, lads? Martin, lads, come on, lads. Come on, you're on our side. You're a Liverpool fan, lad.
Come on. Over to you.
Well, I just want to speak on behalf of all the plastics out there. We do a great job as plastics. We're absolutely
not about you, it's about your apology for Ferran.
Didn't you say if we come? Didn't you say if we? Didn't you say if we came completely innocent, Martin, you'd run in the street naked? I swear you said that on Thursday. If we were completely innocent.
Come on. We want the apology to Ferran and Tiki.
Come on, Martin.
You know what? Right, I apologise for doubting they did something wrong. I still think they've made mistakes.
No, that's not the issue. You sound like journalists now. Yeah, you've got to wait.
Mistakes. But today's a great day. Let's not turn it into that.
No, you gave your apology. That's all that's needed. I'm sure Ferran and Cheeky will accept it.
I've got my speed dial.
Yeah. Very quick.
I won't be getting any 2:00 a.m. phone calls off Martin in the middle of the afternoon. Worried sick now for the next few months. Fantastic.
Brilliant. Well, guys, this is
I'm going to go on holiday, mate, and have a sex on the beach and leave you all alone.
Oh, God.
Cut that, please. Yeah.
This is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Want to thank the guys again for coming on. This video is all about the result this morning that City got 2-year ban overturned at the CAS appeal. Don't forget, if you've not seen it, go over and watch the live announcement this morning on Man City Fan TV and look at some of the reaction from the City fans and the opposition fans as well. But anyway, take care. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell icon. Make sure your notifications are set to public, not private. And it's great being a Blue, innit? Take care. We'll see you soon.